Good morning, welcome back to another day at Red Shed Projects, messing about with old tractors. I'm going to have a try and get a wee bit done on this thing before the winter comes in and the bad weather beats us with it. I've gathered up all these little bits and pieces that we've stripped off it. I'm going to take these home and try and get them all cleaned up, and there's a few bits and pieces I'll need repaired on them, but hopefully I'll get them all took home, cleaned, put into primer, and at least that'll protect them for a bit. There's a few bits on the likes of this door here. This is all bent. I need to try and do something with that. We need a little bit of a weld put back into here again. Apart from that, the doors are pretty solid. I'm going to strip the batteries and that out of it today. Strip all these little bits and pieces off. I'll not take the fuel tank off just yet in case I need to. I'll probably need to move it about. I'll take all the front panels off, take them home and get them put into primer and ready for painting. I should have really had all that done by now, but I've been that busy with my work and stuff. I just, between that and being a little bit on the lazy side. But hopefully I'm going to try and degrease all this today and get this all rubbed down and maybe scratched up a wee bit. Intentions was to blast the whole tractor, but I'm not too sure whether that's going to actually need to happen. We'll maybe do our best and clean it up, because my original plan was to try and restore this little tractor back to like an original sort of condition, but to be honest I would rather actually use it. So the plan will be is to have it tidied up into a working condition again, so that it becomes a practical item rather than something that's just going to sit in the shed and not being taken out, or afraid to get it damaged. So it will remain a working vehicle. I'm going to take the batteries out of it today, and there is a battery, another set of batteries on the other side. I didn't realise that until we're working on the brakes, and I noticed that. Not too sure what the idea of that is, but maybe somebody will be able to let us know in the comments section. Also, I'd like to thank everybody for subscribing to the channel lately. I see we're up to over 700 subscribers now. The channel's fairly grown in the 6 or 8 months or something that it's been going. So thanks to everybody that took the time to watch the videos. We're no experts at this, but it is for a wee bit of entertainment. This is all starting to rust a wee bit. This is all just like factory primer that was put on. It's nothing fancy, and all these. I'd like to get this all painted and protected, because storage is a wee bit of an issue just now. It'll just have to remain in this shed, and as you can see, there's a few gaps about the place. But I'll strip all this off today, clean this down, and get that last rear mud guard off, and so hopefully we'll get it cleaned and ready for an etch primer. I think it end up being painted exactly where it sits. But I have a friend that's going to take the wheels and blast them for me, and I suppose we'll see how the budget goes, and it'll maybe done a new set of tyres at some point, depending on the cost of them. But it would be fine to get it near enough finished up for before winter comes in. Like, it's too cold for working outside. I'm no fan of the cold. So what I'll do is I will get this stuff ready to go away, and we'll start and strip the batteries and front panels off. I'll set the camera up, and maybe just time lapse bits of that, because that's all been seen before. You can look back and check the other videos for where we did pre-fit the panels onto the tractor. out with the tools, see how we're going to get on with this. There we have it, back in looking naked again. Bit tricky getting that mudguard off on your own. That was a bit of a nightmare. That would have been easier if my co-part Damien had been here. But unfortunately he's at work today. Next plan is I think we'll take this other battery box off. I don't really see any need for it to be. We'll have to take the bolts out of here. I'm going to take that battery box out and clean that, and then starting to get all this grease and stuff off. Maybe strip this old wiring off. Not really looking forward to having to clean this from here up, the amount of little parts it's on it, but I'm sure we'll be able to do something with it. Might be able to just take the covers off, and the main bit probably stays on. I'm not quite sure. A lot of grease and stuff and around here, but in general shouldn't really be any leaks now. It's all new brake pipes fitted. New wee cylinders down here. Little things costing a fortune. It's not related, to be honest. The bits and pieces that I've picked up for it have been reasonably cheap. I don't actually have I don't think I have an oil leak here. This rocker cover was changed, and I just haven't got around to cleaning everything yet. There was a little diesel leak here. I replaced the copper washers on that. Problem is I don't really want to be stripping too much off the engine, as I'm not really wanting to open too many cans of worms, breaking bolts and stuff like that, so ideally the less I can take off the better. But I always gathered up in here over time, just guns and stuff. I have cleaned it out. I'm not sure what the setup is with this air filter. I do think it's probably oil in here, but I've never opened it. In the process of when we clean it down, when we try and get the wee tractor serviced, I do have all the filters and stuff to service it. Some of these wee pipes here could really do with being replaced. They're a bit perished looking. I order these things all in from the Czech Republic, and it's amazing how they're a fraction of the price of ordering from the UK. But it is what it is. All these little rubber bits will all be replaced, but I'm going to try and keep them so that I know what shape to cut the new ones. I assume that's the top of your feet getting cold. I'm not sure what like these things would be to operate in the winter. I can't imagine them being too good. Some hardy buggers that would have had to operate these tractors in their day with no heating. Guys nowadays don't know how lucky they are. Right, and we'll also have to crack the welder out and see what we can do with this. Ideally that would do with being replaced completely. I've actually been looking out for a specific little bit of angle iron for that. I'd plan now is what are we going to do now? What are we going to do? Have a cup of tea and we'll work out what we're going to do next. Not exactly sure why this other battery's in here. There must be a reason. Is this what? Did you just keep a charged battery in this side, or was this to run the auxiliaries or whatever? I'm not quite sure. If anybody could enlighten me to that, but it doesn't look as if it's been taken out for quite some time. But out she comes. This would make a good toolbox if I don't have to put a battery back into here. I'll have to make a few inquiries. I don't see a positive connection anywhere. It's just a negative from what I can see. A little scraper. I actually think I'd be better off just taking this off completely, this bit, And this bit here will be one less thing to strip off for painting. So now managed to get this second battery box out. That was a bit of a hassle. I ended up doing that off camera. Bolts were all solid. Quite a lot of dirt and gunging around here, and underneath quite mucky and oily looking. I do have a new gasket to replace the underside of the pump at the back, but I'll have to scrape all the bottom out and clean this all up before we go any further. I've also started with a wire wheeling. Started cleaning little bits and pieces of any mucky kind of rust off. I've done around this axle a little bit. Started to clean it up, took any sort of dirty surface rust off the side of that tank. Sort of cleaned these pipes and all up a bit, and some of these wee fittings and all have come up a wee bit better. I'm only trying to get the worst off it just now, so whenever I start and get it degreased, I'm not clattering the place and mucking oil. Things is actually cleaned up a wee bit of the side of the block. We'll get another power hose at it whenever we give it a proper clean down, but if I can get the worst off it for now, that would be spot on. And I'm going to take this doors and stuff home with me today, and I'll take them out to my work and see if I can get them blasted. I'll get the wings all put away and put into storage, and then we'll maybe go down and take a look at Damien's camper van. Oh, he's showing us Johnny's Bruce here. Let me see. These boys are butchers if I ever seen it.
It works.
Oh, I'm sure it does. Oh, I'm just digging the.
She's a brush.
Check the brush shaft.
She's shaft work.
Johnny is no dozer. Johnny will go far and leave. So we will. Right, we'll wrap this up with the Zetor for just now, and we'll take a walk down in a minute and have a look at Damien's camper, see what the progress is with. Here we'll have a look at Damien's new camper project. As I said in the last video that Damien done, the LT35, it's now gone, and this is the replacement for it. quite a bargain of a machine. He just has it a couple of weeks. He hasn't done too much to it, but he's tidied up a few picky bits and whatnot. But as you can see, there's not a dent in it. It's quite a straight fan. A few small picky bits here and there on it, but he is going to give it a full respray in a few years time, but he's going to try and get the best of it first. Really low mileage fan, only 84,000 miles in this little bus, but see now. Burn like a kitten. He's put a few bits on the doors to spruce it up a bit. You need to take this sticky bit off. Aye, put a petrol or something and take that off.
Yeah.
There's a new light bar put up on the top. There's someone that said then that'll help us fuel economy. It's going to make an excellent fan this. Whenever he's finished, he'll really start gathering up a few units and whatnot. I think he's going to put a couple of units over here, and then he has an abundance of space through the back. It seems to just keep going and going. This fan, he's gathered up a couple of beds and bits and pieces. He's still with a night heater and whatnot to fit it, but a real good base fan. Any lights? See if we can get a few. Alright. Like that. There is a disabled lift at the back there that's still to come out. There was one of those in one of the vans that he got to break for the LT35, and the guy bought the lift to use it as for lifting building materials into the back of his van, so maybe someone else will get the use of that one.
Maybe paint your white little door.
Then
The other one I'll not use.
they'll be good units, they're quite sturdy.
The kickboards also.
And next he's going to take these rails off the floor, but he is going to leave that original flooring down. Quite a funky wee step. Don't close the door. This is quite a... Look at that now. That's quite tidy. Quite impressed with it. Good job for going to be the bars back. I'm quite impressed with this for what Damien has paid for it. He has done really well. Fitted some new wheel trims onto the wheels this week. Give the wheels a bit of a paint up. Has a decent set of tyres and all on it. All in all, he doesn't really have to spend too much money in the van itself, and it just flew through an MOT. Oh, he's getting worried about the price of diesel here, so he's switching it off. But that'll be it until you get to see the journey that Damon takes this thing on, see what he has planned for it in the coming months. I'm sure next year it'll see a few campsites here and there. I think he's planning a trip to Ireland in it whenever he gets it completely finished. But anyway, thanks for watching, and please like and subscribe to the channel if you're into these type of projects, and we'll catch you in the next one.